While Defence Minister Arun Jaitley has cleared these projects worth 21,000 crores in his first Defence Acquisition Council meet, which lasted over 3 hours, these projects include 32 helicopters as well for the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard at the cost of 7,000 crores. While that proposal will take years to materialize, the maritime forces continue to grapple with a massive helicopter crunch. Special correspondent Jugal R. Purohit with this report.
Coast Guard Chetak helicopter rescuing stranded firemen atop Mumbai's Lotus Park. Men in white charged with India's maritime security. But the real scenario is that of an unending nightmare concerning the helicopter fleet of the Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guard. The helicopters that these forces require are rapidly dwindling, both in numbers and capabilities. Headlines today: investigation reveals the Navy has a mess on its hands. Modern platforms, built at a staggering expense to the exchequer, are roaming the seas without helicopters on board. Many warships which have 2 hangars on board but not a single helicopter. Out of 6 Talwar class frigates, which include the recently inducted frigates Teg, Tarkash and Trikand, only 3 carry a helicopter. None of the 3G class of frigates, IN Godavari, Ganga and Gomati, have even 1 helicopter. Coming to larger ships like the destroyers, 1 Kamov helicopter is being shared between 5 Rajput class ships.
Talking of the Indian Navy across categories, be it the anti-submarine warfare, the early warning or even the utility, in across these categories the Indian Navy is facing a crisis. So much so that several of its modern day platforms which are designed to embark on themselves 2 helicopters are actually roaming the seas and patrolling them without the availability of even 1.
With the requirement of over 100 helicopters across different categories, the Navy's predicament is clear.
A helicopter is absolutely vital to a modern ship, whether it's a Coast Guard ship or a naval ship. It takes far more time to get a ship built than it takes to get a helicopter. So if we have a number of ships which are waiting for helicopters, if a quick decision is taken, it may be possible to remedy this situation. It's a system which requires a revamp. But if you look at the overall economic situation, I'm not sure where the extra money is going to come from.
On the other hand, not even a single ship of Indian Coast Guard has an integrated helicopter flight, a concept which was once propagated for every single ship. The biggest hurdle is its malnourished fleet of under 20 aging Chetak helicopters and 2 advanced light helicopter Dhruv, which are deployed solely at Porbandar to keep an eye on the international maritime borderline with Pakistan. The Indian Coast Guard requires 16 light helicopters, for which it has chosen the indigenous ALH Dhruv Mark III.
This hoarding behind me outside the headquarters of the Indian Coast Guard perhaps explains to us in the simplest of terms just what the problem is. An ultra-modern ship, a pollution control vessel to be precise, roaming the seas without the helicopter for which there is the provision which has been made available.
It's not very fair to say that it's entirely on account of the extra formation or commission on the part of the MOD. Since the entire process is services driven, there is a need, I think, to have some kind of a permanent body, specialized entity, which would get into not only the QR formulation, but to drive the entire process.
No sizable acquisition in over a decade. An unforgiving procedure and the ghost of Augusta Westland scandal have together led to shortage of choppers for both Navy and Coast Guard. Then there is the naval multi-role helicopter deal to replace the Chetaks, which were first introduced into the Indian Armed Forces in the 60s, and the naval utility helicopter deal. It is all hanging in the balance. With Jugal Purohit, Sahil Maniktala for Headlines Today.